Good afternoon and welcome, Steve.
Thanks, Nadia. Good to be here.
Thank you for taking the time to come and tell us more about the ADAVB Mentoring Program.
Not at all. It's a great initiative.
Tell me, firstly, why did you want to become a mentor?
That's a good question. It takes a bit of time, so you need to know why you would do it. I'd say it's because in my first year of graduate practice, I was lucky enough to work under a great public dentist at a major public hospital in the country. And he inspired me to realise what I did know from my uni studies, have the confidence to execute the procedures correctly, but also gently taught me what I may not know yet, and then just let me go out into the world and learn gradually how to actually implement those procedures in practice. But in a way that by the end of the year I was actually surprised by how much I was comfortable doing. And that really set me off on an actual passion for the profession, which I think was far greater than when I first got out of uni. Subsequently, I moved back to Melbourne and then had a great experience finding a good practice under a great principal, where in private practice now he managed to teach me all of the things that you're definitely not taught at uni, which involve the nuances of billing correctly and taking into account a family situation rather than just a tooth. And from there I was really launched on a great path where I enjoyed clinical dentistry, private and public practice, and now that I'm, I suppose, old enough to give something back, I thought it would be nice to come and help a new graduate under the scheme.
Oh, what a wonderful mentor-mentee relationship you started with.
I hope so, yeah.
And now in the other seat, what did you gain from the experience?
That's another good question. It's interesting that when you provide advice to a recent graduate out of a course like dentistry, you can guarantee they're very intelligent people. So when you provide advice to them, you need to have a great reason behind the advice you're giving, or you're going to find that the response might not be what you expect.
Question.
They do, and it makes you question yourself. So you'd go back and look at your reasons behind the clinical advice you're giving and make sure that they're evidence-based before you meet up again. And you might even get into the more subtle things, like you'll question whether the way you're running your dental practicing life is actually what you truly want out of the profession as well. Are you working too much? Do you have time for the kids, etc.? And that's an important thing, because we rarely sit back, look at ourselves, evaluate and question what we're doing.
And how did your mentee respond? Did they give you any feedback to the relationship you developed?
Yeah, I was lucky enough to receive a card from mine yesterday, actually. Funny ask, but she wrote in there, "Thanks for being so laid back. It made it very easy to talk to you." And that coins to me why this program can be so successful. It's because if you gain that great relationship, which I'm sure most of us have in the mentor-mentee way, then you have a sounding board totally separate to your clinical practice day to day, where you can discuss things that may relate to employment or certain cases that also involve your principal dentist in a way where there is no bias and there's no shame in discussing it. There's also no conflict of interest. And that's very important to have.
Sounds very fortunate for her to have someone that's independent and confidential to discuss cases and scenarios with.
Yeah, I think that sums it up well, Nadia. That's exactly what this provides.
And would you recommend the program to others?
Without a doubt. There's no, I suppose, need to go into the reasons behind why as a mentee it's beneficial. They're very obvious. As a mentor, though, like I've said before, I think it'll make you question whether you're performing dentistry in the most fulfilling way possible and enjoyable way possible for your life. And you can't really get that often or anywhere else that I can think of immediately. So, yeah.
It makes you reopen those textbooks and
it does,
and read those journal
right.
articles again.
And it regains your passion for the profession, which is always important.
What a wonderful program.
It is, yeah.